honor to have you here. And I just mentioned it before. The reason why I invited you to the conference is because I believe in the future, every company needs to have a media outlet. People underestimate the power of social media. They underestimate the power of storytelling. They don't see yet how you can build businesses on top of social media. That's why I invited you. And a little background about you. So Xenia is an entrepreneur, an author, a model, and a speaker. She has, with her brand and personality, a very successful business. Xenia has created several entrepreneurial projects outside and in fashion. And she's also an advocate for women in business. She shares insight and for many aspiring entrepreneurs in her newest book, Empower Yourself. You had like 4 TED Talks. That's like 4 more than I had. You were speaking at the United Nations, and you speak 6 languages. That's crazy. Which one are these languages?
All right. Thank you so much for this presentation. English, of course.
Yes.
Italian is my first. I'm from Lugano.
Yeah.
I live in London, but I'm from Lugano. Russian, because my parents are originally Russian. Speak French, of course, Switzerland, German, and Spanish, because I dance bachata.
I hope that ChatGPT updates their language model quickly so I can be fluent in all these languages as well. You have 2.5 million followers on Instagram, 0.5 million on TikTok. Thank you very much for coming by. Big applause for Xenia.
Thank you.
So,
0.5.
my first question, Xenia, is I posted a TikTok about On shoes. They're rentable. And people were so angry on TikTok and so mean. They told, shove that shoe up your ass. And they tagged the guy, they tagged his friend and said, look at this crazy guy, this moron, he rents his shoes. Why are people so mean on TikTok?
That's surprising to me. I need to see your TikTok. What did you do?
It's awful, it's awful. So don't look at it, don't follow me, don't do that. No, let's jump to a serious note here. When and how did you realize how powerful social media is?
So I had a traditional journey initially. I studied economics, and parallel to that, I was working with brands. I was a model. I did Miss Switzerland a while ago already, and I was working in traditional media that was top-down. It was top-down, so I had very little freedom in terms of everything. Decision-making, creativity, any type of decision power. I had really little say in how my image was portrayed, what was said about me, what I would wear, even.
So news outlets said whatever they wanted.
News outlets would, of course, take control of the situation, so you had to play the game because they were necessary. Also, top-down in terms of whether you're modeling or TV presenting or acting, there's always somebody on top of you having a decision for you.
Yeah.
But, there's a lot of people, like, the owners, the producers, the directors. Same with even writing for magazines or appearing in magazines. And I was doing all of these things. Traditional media. And I didn't like it because I am very opinionated and I am self-made, so I didn't want to be an object in a way. You're not always an object, but as a creative, it's very difficult sometimes in those industries. And when social media came by, I had a girlfriend who was a pioneer in blogging, and she opened her own blog, and I saw her model, saw how she did it, and it was going quite well. It was very rudimentary compared to the type of shoots I was doing or work I was performing. It was very homemade in a way. It's very different to be, in a TV show than, take your own pictures and posting them online at the time. And yet I saw potential. I thought, okay, listen, this is going places because she is her own boss.
Yeah.
And I replicated the model. I opened my own web magazine, and I kind of switched completely careers. It was like a period of crisis and transition. It wasn't easy because I had to leave everything I was doing, say no to everything. At the time, I also was already I finished my studies. I tried a lot of things, including finance, and I didn't want to do any of it. I wanted to be my own boss. So I opened this business. It was very pioneering, but it worked. It worked because we could monetize it already with other writers. So I basically was helping other people having exposure.
Because you already had some exposure.
Yes and no. I had to start over from scratch. I already had a lot of exposure initially in the traditional media, but when I started online, I had to restart everything from scratch because it was different countries. You know, I was well known in Switzerland, but I wasn't well known elsewhere, and it was in English, so it was more like, you know, US centric, but also Italy. A lot of brands are based in Italy, so I was working with a lot of Italian brands. And it worked. So basically this web magazine went viral initially on Facebook. In fact, on Facebook, I have over 6 million followers.
I haven't been on Facebook for a very long time, so sorry for not mentioning that.
But it worked at the time. So Facebook helped us to go viral because our content was good and it was being shared. So, you know, social media platforms evolve and change. In fact, it's fine that you haven't been on Facebook. It's still working in a way, but yeah. So you need to evolve with the animal. So from there on, you know, I evolved what I was doing. People started being interested more in clothes and beauty, and not specifically what I was doing initially with writers that were writing about luxury, art, travel. So we kind of pivoted, and then it was more about me. At the beginning, it wasn't. And then Instagram came by, and I started Instagram. Slowly, little by little, I grew it. It wasn't easy because I kind of started late, so it's very important to start any wave very early. And then from there on, I started working with a lot of international brands. So my audience became very international, and it allowed me to become free from, you know, the top-down system. I could, you know, dictate my own terms. If I want to have my hair undyed, or if I want to, you know, put on weight or lose weight, or if I want to have an opinion on a political matter, or if I want to say I'm an empowered woman and women should be, you know, free to say whatever they want.
You have no gatekeeper.
I don't have, you know, if I don't want to work with a brand, I don't.
Yeah.
And that was extremely freeing, and that's all thanks to, you know, social media and the internet. But it's evolving.
We will dig into that top-down and bottom-up approach a bit more just in a second. What are the businesses you are involved in, if you need to categorize them? You know, obviously your social media presence, you see a lot, but there's a lot of businesses behind it, right? What are the businesses behind it?
All right, so there's a few ways to monetize it. The most obvious one is long-term contracts with brands. So, I don't know, I'm gonna make it up. Chanel comes to me, we want you to participate to our show, we want you to post as well about it, and we want you to wear our clothes.
So you just mentioned you're going to Cannes, so
yes.
Chanel says, hey, this is his bag, can you keep the bag?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, great.
I mean, there are times that they're actually loaned, the clothes, by the way. It depends, you know, if it's a very, you know, it's a fashion show look that you wear once, why would you keep it? Yeah. But usually it's a mix of, it's usually a fee, and then it depends. It's your bread and butter. It's how we pay rent, you know. So
the first is you get these brand deals. That's one pillar.
Yeah, it's very good. It's a good pillar because if you have a few brand deals that are long term, then you can just, you know, focus on other things because that's kind of like your bottom line. Yeah. Then, and there's a few ways. There's video monetization. Video monetization comes from ads on other platforms, not from Instagram.
Which are the most interesting ones at this moment?
It depends. Video monetization is very interesting. It's in-roll ads, so you can just, you know, create your own show or even just talk about yourself and have followers that want to hear you speak. And then the actual platforms put in-roll ads. Simple.
Like YouTube.
Anything, Another one is consulting, of course. Behind the scenes, I do a lot of brand consulting in terms of, it could be, you know, marketing strategy, it could be social media strategy, branding, expansion, and that's another one. Yeah. And then
so we have brand deals, ads, consulting.
Consulting. Well, I have my book and public speaking, but that's kind of like my own thing. It's not necessarily an influencer thing or creator thing. It's more public speaking is my thing. So universities, conferences, could be anything, banks, a lot of financial, and that's on motivation because
Yeah.
my book is a self-help. And there's another one. 1 second. So we said brand deals.
Brand deals, ads, consulting, books and speaking
Okay,
engagements.
so there is also paywall things in terms of it could be consulting paywall.
Yeah, okay.
It could be just you know.
But not paywall on your site.
No, paywall in terms of there's a website called Patreon where you can give advice or creativity. It is very good in terms of it's very focused on one-on-one. So some people can actually ask me, listen, I need motivation advice. I read your book. Can you, guide me here and there?
Yeah.
And there are like tiers that you can acquire. So that's another way to kind of like monetize.
Did these cash flow streams change during time, or are they quite stable?
It always changes because the market has changed a lot with TikTok. Because during the pandemic, a lot of people have become viral on TikTok very easily.
I didn't, so
I can coach you.
I'm up for it.
You still have hope. There is still hope on TikTok. It's
I need
growing.
to get rid of my rentable shoes. That's one thing for sure.
No, you could actually monetize on that.
Let's do
Anyway,
that.
we'll speak about it later. And because of these new famous people that flooded the market, people with a lot of followers, they are usually quite young and they're newbies. What happens is obviously the barrier at entry is very low. You get TikTok, you get a few viral videos, you get followers. You are not necessarily a business person. What happened with these young TikTokers is that they flooded the market and they started going everywhere for free. And of course, if I'm a brand, I will take advantage of it.
Yeah.
But it's an issue because A, it lowers the quality a lot of the output, and B, of course, we don't have a union. So, if I don't go and I say I'm not going for free, someone else will. Yeah. So it's a very interesting moment in the market. But at the same time, the paywall thing, the subscription thing, for example, I also have subscriptions on Facebook. Yeah. Is the same platform.
And you can do it on Twitter
everywhere
as well, right? Where you can pay, where you have just access to spaces and stuff like that. So
Correct.
you can monetize through social media. Let's dig.
Sorry, to finish this. Basically, creators are moving towards a different model that is not necessarily because of this flooded the market. There's like only a few creators that are very structured, professional, and understand the business. So they don't run everywhere just because of exposure or association with a brand, which not necessarily brings a lot. So I coach a lot of creators as well on this.
Let's dig a little bit more into that field because it's so interesting. One of my theories is that people don't trust brands that much anymore. They start trusting online personalities. And it's not about showing your fake life, it's about showing reality. And there are some as I mentioned before, Mr. Beast is one very successful. Logan Paul, who started as a YouTuber and is the fastest growing energy drink in the world at this moment, which is absolutely crazy. How do you see yourself and how do you position your brand within that field of being real versus having a persona, public persona? How do you do that? How do you handle that?
It's a very good question. So first of all, on TikTok, for example, is very unfiltered and very spontaneous. Whereas on Instagram, brands still want that kind of, high-end exposure, high-end filter association. So you go platform by platform, and you try to be authentic. But of course, my private life is my private life. So, for example, I always post delayed, as in I never post where I am at the time I am.
So we need to take the posts we had with you just now. No. Yeah.
Yeah, I try to be careful with that.
So you're always delayed that you have your private life.
It's a bit dangerous. It could be dangerous.
Yeah. Did you have a problem with that?
Yeah. I've had people coming to hotels where I was staying just to wait for me many times.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's you gotta be careful. But other than that, authenticity is very, very important. It's always been important. The more real you are, and the more people will wanna follow you and be part of your lifestyle and they just want basically an inspirational friend.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
And do you have like a concept for storytelling, how you structure that? Because everything will be storytelling. We talk about ideas, and the best way to bring ideas is through storytelling. What is your concept of storytelling?
Well, it's very interesting. So if you travel, you kind of show the journey. If people want to see, the more you show, the better it is. But I don't want to be a reality show either.
Yeah.
So very oftentimes I like to just speak on camera and tell my opinion. For example, I do that a lot on Snapchat. Every subject. It could be something very superficial or something a bit more.
How many followers do you have on Snapchat?
500,000.
Is it still important?
It's back. Yes.
Yeah. That's what I saw with my godchild. She's only on Snapchat.
Yeah. It
or
was
Snap.
It did a
All
dip.
people call it Snapchat.
Yeah, it's Snap actually. Snapping.
Snapping. That's how we call it.
Yeah, it did a dip, but they have resurfaced. Yeah.
You just mentioned it before. It looks nice, but there are also negative things, not the positive things through social media life. People stalking you and so on. Are there other things that, like when I see some reality person like Casey Neistat, which is a huge YouTuber, and I love his videos, he said that at one point he felt like his videos were he was just trying to create the next video. Instead of being in the moment with his family, sitting there, he was trying to create the story. Is that an issue?
If you don't have a discipline, it could become an issue to be always on your phone and to always document what you're doing. It happens. Because everything can be a very interesting occasion for work. So you end up working all the time. It seems seamless, but you're always thinking about, ooh, this is good, ooh, this is interesting, ooh, I could do that. So creativity never stops in a way, but of course you could burn out. So it's a balance. I like to balance it out. I learned to take my pace, and that's why I'm slow in studying my growth. My growth has never stopped in terms of followers, but I am not, doing everything for exposure. Yeah. No, I'd rather have, slow and steady and quality. Yeah. It depends if you're a newbie or not. Yeah.
Let's bring a lot of value to the audience here. Everybody here is an entrepreneur. And if you would start a business, product or service, doesn't matter, how would your storytelling and social media strategy look like? Like maybe they will hire you, but maybe now it's out for free. But what would your process be to start, if you consult a company, how would you do it?
But then I'm gonna give away the most important secret.
Don't give away everything.
I'm gonna give it away. We're gonna use AI.
Yeah.
We're gonna use a lot of AI to create content. We're gonna use it to, right now we can even develop an AI personality.
We just had a video before. Adrian has an AI company. One part of the speech was all in AI. It was a person in AI. So AI is one big thing.
Yes, 100% I would do that. And then it depends, it's ABC of marketing, depends of the goals and the personal branding. Positioning is everything, image is everything. I am Swiss Italian, so Italy is very close to me. I grew up with Italian culture, so I see that a lot of other countries don't have this vision. They have very good businesses. They're very sound, very valid, very solid, but they forget the most important part, that image matters. Yeah. And it happens a lot. Like I see incredible businesses, even my publisher initially of my book, had this incredible business separate from publishing house. And the only thing that was missing for virality was branding and image. We did that, it became amazing. So that will stay, that will forever stay. But the tools we're gonna use for it will simplify it and will make it faster. Yeah. Faster to market.
We will open soon for the audience. I have like 2 questions from my side. So the first one is, you talked about female entrepreneurship, and I'm trying not to fall in these pitfalls of male-female entrepreneurship, because I believe it doesn't matter if you're male or female, you're an entrepreneur. But we tried to contact so many female entrepreneurs to attend the conference, and it was really hard. How do you see that more women start their own businesses? And you're talking about that also in your book. What is a recipe that Switzerland will have more female founders in the future?
You need to lead by example, basically. The more trendy it becomes, the more younger audiences will try to do that. So basically just be it, embody it, and speak about it. Be loud. I agree with you that it doesn't matter if you're... It's horrible to say female entrepreneur.
It's just like, entrepreneur, right.
Are you a male entrepreneur? That's exactly. So cute. You know, like, what does that mean?
Yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah, so it's an entrepreneur. It's a person. I've always seen myself as a human, not as a female or male. It doesn't matter. But then I was kind of confronted with the fact that I was a female something. And I was like, what does that even mean? I was like, I'm a human first. I'm doing this. Doesn't matter what I look like or what my sex is. But apparently it's not there yet. So being vocal and starting trends online on social media works. I see a very dangerous trend on social media, and I will be vocal about it. And it's about the soft feminine life and the female divine energy, which in
Please explore. I don't
check
have that
out.
hashtag.
It's a very trendy one. It's everywhere. And I find it very, very dangerous because it sets women back. It basically says that females are females and males are males, and certain characteristics are attributed to females and others aren't. So the woman is supposed to just chill and sit back and relax. And then it's like, I mean, you can, but that's actually dangerous because if that becomes trendy, and it has become trendy, younger generations will, aspire to that. And then we're gonna just, go back in time. And everything we've achieved for equality could be erased. It's not a given. And so it's not a given. That's why it's important to still be vocal for male and female, not just for females. If a man is respectful to women, he's a feminist.
And I don't want to dig too much into that field because I see it exactly the same. It's entrepreneurs, that's it. So from my side, the last question. So how do you see social media in the future? And maybe you can be very concrete about the channels as well, which I was really surprised with Snap. And maybe you can dig a little bit more into it. Maybe also you see things that appear already or platforms that are bouncing back or losing. You just mentioned Facebook. Might there be a chance that Facebook is bouncing back? LinkedIn is a huge thing. How do you see the future, and could you be very specific about channels?
No.
Okay.
Because neither the platforms know. Basically, there was Clubhouse, that social media network.
I put my whole career on Clubhouse, and it failed. I was Xenia Tchoumi of Clubhouse. I can tell you that. I was really big at there. I had like 1,000 followers within a day, but it crashed.
Everybody thought it's going to be the next big thing. Even brands, they're like, oh, I want you to do this on Clubhouse. 2 weeks later, died. All right. We don't know. Nobody knows. They don't know even. Even internally, they don't know. Because I go to a lot of talks, and I even give talks inside the social media networks because they need a feedback. And nobody knows anything, but I'm sure it's going to be AI-based, and I'm sure it's going to be a lot of jobs will become obsolete, even influencer jobs.
Can you dig a little bit more into AI? What do you mean? Is it like, the whole production?
Yeah, 100%.
Everything with the videos, and how do you position yourself then?
I'll give it to you specifically. So imagine that a dress company comes to me and says, oh, we want you to wear this dress. With AI, I don't even need to receive the dress and shoot it. I'm probably going to be able to create a picture in 2 seconds. I am already building, people are building for me my own AI avatar that is being trained on my book and on all my online presence to have my own opinions, to have my voice, and to even have my own imagery.
To be a little bit provocative, what would you do if a brand comes and says, you know what, Xenia's a great ambassador, but let's do her in AI and just take a little different nose, and then we won't have a problem for copyright infringements, maybe, I don't know. There are no lawyers here, so nobody can answer that. Hopefully no lawyers. how would you do that? And then we open to the audience.
I was looking into that. There's still no regulation on that because I'm closing a contract with a company that builds AI, and I said, my avatar has to be mine and only mine, and there is no proper regulation and appropriation of, image with this detail. But then again, it's about, audience. So if the AI with a different nose doesn't have an audience, is irrelevant.
Yeah.
So it's about building audience and first movers again. Yeah.
So let's open up to the audience. We have like 3 questions here at the front, and then at the back, Eve. Yeah.
So two little questions. So first of all, what do you do by your own, and what do you have like a system, content creators? So how big is your team? And secondly, what do you think about virtual influencers?
Sorry, what do you think about what?
Virtual influencers.
So the first is, do you have a team? And virtual influencers.
Oh, virtual influencers.
So AI.
Yeah, like Michela, there's one, Michaela. So I do have a team, yes, of course. For production, I have one team. I'm based in London, so they're in London. I have assistants. I have a negotiation manager. And then per country, I have different agents. So as my work is, fractured in different countries, I have agents because personal relationships are still important. So they do take, marketing managers out for coffee. They have personal relationships, for example, I have an agent who works in Italy, and she's very close to all of the marketing managers in Italy. So it is not a full-time team. It is per project team, but of course I always use the same people and in terms of work. And then I have a few in-house. So it all depends where I'm traveling to and what country I'm working in. And regarding virtual influencers, that's where we're going. The only problem is they cannot physically come to an event.
Yves?
So I created content as well before, and it was always somewhat stressful to come up with the next big idea on what to post. So how do you come up with ideas when you don't know what to post next?
Rent shoes is a great idea. It's for free.
So I usually get inspired by other influencers I follow. So I do spend time watching and observing trends and observing other people and just recreating those or changing them to my own, audience. Another one now is ChatGPT, but it's a bit lame. It doesn't have a lot of coolness yet.
And last question here at the front.
For Mike, so I'm just going to talk. So I work in influencer marketing, so I'm working with people like you for a couple of years now. And what we see is this huge trend to creating their own brands, because as you said, they already have an audience. And what we see is that an influencer can only survive through discipline and listening to the audience, because you're 100% dependent on really getting very fast what the community wants. Now, when I look at your work, you have the co-creation with a fashion brand, but from what I understand, you don't push own brands like skincare or anything. Why don't you do that?
It's just not my dream, really. I think consumer product is really hard. I prefer digital products like a course, or like an AI bot or things like that. I don't like consumer products. I think I've seen a lot of it. I've seen how hard it is, and I've seen how my colleagues are, killing themselves to do both. Because being a content creator is one job, and then you have to own a consumer product. It's tough. So for me, it's just my own preference. It's personal.
Last one. Oh, sorry, last one. He has the microphone. Last one.
Yeah, you are very popular and you're a brand, but it always depends on you as a person, on you as a face. So my question is, what's your plan in order to do the next step to scale it up, to go out of a business and to take you a little bit out of that? Do you train juniors? Do you do other things?
I do not have an influencer marketing agency, if that's the question. Yes, I agree with you. A lot depends on me as a person. But I think as an entrepreneurial journey, a lot depends on your energy. Even if you are not the face of it, it's still about, how much energy you put into the business. And having said that, there's a few things I do that don't depend necessarily on me, like consulting or video monetization online and shows online that do not depend on me at all. So yeah, that's kind of like a way to scale it. But it will always, to a certain degree, be my own, like, you know, I'll have to front things, like the things I do.
So don't miss out on social media and storytelling, I can tell you that. Contact Xenia if you want to have a strategy and internationalize your... You will add her on TikTok. Add her on Clubhouse.
It's just my first name. It's Xenia.
We will figure that out. Maybe you're still here for a couple of minutes if somebody has a concrete question. And big applause for Xenia. Thank you very much for your openness.
Thank you.